How's it going, guys? Kilo87 here. I do apologize for the audio being a little weird. I think it's a little wonky at the moment, but we'll get through this together. I'm starting a new project, and this is a project that I was going to do way back in the year of like 2013, 2014, something like that. So this is like 5 years old of this idea that I've had. And a lot has happened with this franchise since that idea came to be. And I'm sorry, my dog is scratching at the door. One quick jump cut later. Anyway, my idea was to review every Godzilla movie ever made. Now, that list has gotten a little bigger. There's been, what, 5 Godzilla movies that have come out since, like, 2013? Because you had the 2014 American Godzilla movie, Shin Godzilla, and the anime trilogy. I can't say all of which. Most of which I've seen. I've seen Shin Godzilla, I've seen Godzilla 2014. I went to theaters to go see 2014. I was that excited for it. And then I've seen the first installment of the Godzilla anime trilogy. And this idea spawned because I was just going to review the anime trilogy. And I was just kind of going to have me sitting in front of a camera like I am now, and just kind of talking about it. But I wanted to do something a little more, because this is a franchise that I've loved for an extremely long time. I grew up watching the movies. I got excited for Godzilla 2014. I'm excited for Godzilla King of the Monsters to come out, this year, and Godzilla vs. King Kong, I believe, next year. So, I really am excited, and I have a lot to say about a lot of these movies. I just haven't had the format to do it until about now. So now some disclaimers about these videos. Because of, YouTube's copyright stuff here like that, I am going to be using the footage from the movies, very sparingly. I want to try to use as much footage as I can, but even if there is footage, the only audio is probably just going to be me talking over it. I am going to do my best to feature, Godzilla's roar from each movie in the videos, maybe at the beginning, along with a little title card. But as far as audio goes, I'm really going to try and limit the amount of audio that I use. Again, because of YouTube's copyright stuff. I want this to be as informative as possible, and also as just, it's a review, it's just like when I do my toy reviews. It's something that I'm, sitting down, I'm talking about these movies, and going with it. The funny thing about these movies is I've actually already got the first one started. I have a lovely website open here called textfixer.com. They have a random choice generator. And so I plugged in the name of every single Godzilla movie from the very first all the way down to Planet Eater, which is the third installment of the anime. And I am, as I said, I'm just going to, I went through and I clicked generate, and so the first one is going to be an interesting one, because it's one of, the 5 or 6 movies that I hadn't seen / haven't seen, before I started this project, there was only was it Godzilla Raids Again, um, Godzilla versus Hedorah, Godzilla versus Megalon, and the last two installments of the anime trilogy that I hadn't seen. One of those five is the next installment. Now, I do want to note that outside of when it comes to like the Showa and Heisei era movies, I am going to go ahead and just review those as they pop up because for the most part they can work as standalone films. Um, with the last three movies of the Heisei era, and of course, you know, the anime trilogy and Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Godzilla Tokyo SOS, those are all like sequels to one another. I mean, and I guess you could do the same thing with like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla and Terror of Mechagodzilla. Those ones are sequel as it's a direct sequel to the previous one as well. But again, they can kind of work as standalone films. Um, I do want to point out that there are a couple of things I have on the list that some people may not expect, but most people probably will. I do have both of the American releases of Godzilla as of this date, which is, as far as the date of this recording, is April 24th, 2019. So, King of the Monsters hasn't released yet. So the two American movies that I have are the Godzilla from 1998, ugh, and the Godzilla from 2014. Also, while a lot of the movies I'm going to do are probably, I would like to review the English dubbed version, and I do own most of, if not all of, the Godzilla films. I don't necessarily have a way to record those movies outside of a crazy, wacky, ridiculous means of recording them. So what I've taken to doing is I've found a way to stream the movies, and I'm going to record them without audio, use that footage to then enhance the review. It's mostly going to be like short fights, short clips of fights, and maybe some shots of some characters here and there, or some funny moments. Like we all know the Godzilla dropkick from Godzilla vs. Megalon is going to make it. We all know that the weird, crazy dance from, I want to say, what was it, like Invasion of the Astro Monster? Or whatever. I think it was like the second one that featured Ghidorah and Rodan. The weird space dance thing. I can't ever remember what movie that's from, but it'll be a fun experience when it happens. And again, I do want to use, the roars from the different Godzilla movies. I think it'd be well worth it to cover that, because Godzilla's roar is something that's iconic. You can't just go with it. And I realize a lot of these vlogs and such are unscripted. I apologize for that. But as I said, this is a franchise that I've grown up watching. And I have a lot of nostalgia for these movies. I have a lot of love for these movies. Even some of the ones that are regarded as like really, really bad, I have some nostalgia and love for, because they were like my first Godzilla movie, for example. Funny enough, is regarded as like the worst Godzilla movie of all time, outside of like Godzilla 1998, which doesn't count as a Godzilla movie in most people's case, myself included. And I just thought of another Godzilla movie, like two more Godzilla movies that I hadn't seen in Son of Godzilla and Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. So, yeah, so there was like closer to seven that I hadn't seen. But to be fair, it's not bad. Out of like what 39 movies or something like that, I think it was seven that I hadn't seen. I'm a bit of a Godzilla fanboy, if you hadn't noticed. Um, but onto why this came up. I had just kind of stumbled across Alex the Hunted and his reviews, and remembered watching the Cinemassacre Godzillathon back in the day and loving that, and watching Goji Fan 93 when his channel was around, and I wanted to kind of bring my own perspective to the proverbial ring here. I wanted to throw my hat in the ring just to kind of be able to maybe educate some people who hadn't heard of the Godzilla movies or hadn't seen a lot of them. And I mean, it's a nice little kick for me because while I'm not recording the audio is still playing, so I can just sit and watch the movies and get a fresh take on the movie and get a look at these movies with a more critical eye rather than just sitting down to watch them because it's a Godzilla movie. The last movie that I should say I did a little bit of changing on is, instead of using the Godzilla King of the Monsters American re-edit of the original Godzilla movie, I am going to just watch Gojira and review that. I do, however, I would like to at some point review Godzilla King of the Monsters, because it is a big part of Godzilla's history. It's, and there's another movie I hadn't seen, Godzilla vs. King Kong. Regardless, it was America's first introduction to the monster that I've grown up loving. And while it may not be my introduction to the character, it was my, native country's introduction to the character. And so I do eventually want to watch the American re-edit with Raymond Burr and review that. I mean, I've seen it, but I want to watch it for review purposes and, go about it that way. I actually just recently, like last week, as of this recording, saw Gojira for the first time. I think it was this week. Saw Gojira for the first time because I was able to get a hold of the TV and was digging through the Xfinity movies that they had available and saw a bunch of Godzilla movies, and one of them was Gojira, and I was like, I haven't seen it. I'm gonna watch it because I really should watch this as a Godzilla fan. Otherwise, I don't think I can really call myself a Godzilla fan. You know what I mean? Anyway, overall, the announcement is that I'm doing a Godzilla review series. I've got a nice way to, randomly review movies. I'm going to try to review movies in order. I might just say screw it and go all random. That hasn't been determined. And if I do decide to go, review, sequels in sequence, when one of them pops up, assume that the next set of videos is going to be that set of videos. And those being the first two, or the last two movies in the Millennium, last two movies in the Showa series, the last three movies in the Heisei era, and the two Mechagodzillas from the Millennium series, and then the anime series. At this point, I would assume that if one of those pops up, just assume that I'm going to either review all the anime movies in one go, or it's going to be the next set of videos, and I will do them in order. So you don't miss out on the story. While yes, the Showa and Heisei areas are basically one giant continuous story, I they're basically just standalone movies, and you can get away with just reviewing them as standalone movies, uh, especially with the Showa era. Um, Now, as far as factoids and things like that, I'm gonna try and throw some in there. Um, but things happen. You don't always get the chance. And a lot of this, I'm gonna try to script it as best I can, but I'm terrible at writing scripts, which is hilarious for somebody who wanted to be a director. To not be able to write a script is hilarious. So a lot of it's gonna be unscripted, and I'm gonna do my best to sound as professional and animated as I possibly can. Jump cut. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm tired. I've been talking about a Godzilla review series that been wanting to do for the past 5 years, and it's time that I actually do something about it. And so now, it is my great pleasure to announce the first video in the series of Godzilla videos that I'm going to be doing, my review of Godzilla vs. Megalon. And I do hope you guys enjoy it. With that, this is Kiwi Wheeler 87, and I'll see you guys next time.